Welcome once again to Hunter's Entertainment on Twitch.tv. My name is Noxweiler Burf. I am your game master and your guide through a dark and challenging world of survival horror. Tonight, as we do every Tuesday evening, we are playing Outbreak Undead. If you're not familiar with this game, it is not for the faint of heart. And I, as your game master, have confirmed consent with each and every one of the players here tonight. Our lines and veils have been drawn very firmly, and we have safety protocols in place to assist and protect everyone. We ask you for your consent as well, and we encourage you to read the content warnings very closely. This game offers us all an opportunity to explore dark themes and to shine a light on the human condition in the safe confines of our imagination. That, however, takes the bravery and support of each and every one of us, you included. You see, not every character here tonight is being played with the same objectives and motivations. Some are working directly against the other players. They are in communication with dangerous outside forces and seek to do harm. In this world, there are no magical swords, no valiant knights or castle walls to hide behind. The dangers here are far worse than those that you could conjure in a fantasy realm. They wear the face of a very familiar place. A place we are currently living within. Still, in the greatest darkness, hope burns the brightest. I would like to thank both JB Jara and Alex Hillman and the entire Hunters team for helping us to make this campaign happen. If you haven't already, we ask that you sign up for the Scry program in the panels below and engage directly with the communities of our apocalypse. You can take on the role of a survivor yourself, and you can help to divert resources and goods to where you think they are needed most. Your choices tonight will mean the difference between life and death within the settlements of the Rag and Bone universe. Our tireless Undead moderators are also in the chat, and they're prepared to help you by answering any questions that you may have. They're here to support your efforts, and we ask that you show them the respect that they deserve. Also, please, if you enjoy this content, make some noise for us on social media and help us to grow, to bring more survivors into the fold. You can join into our Discord and connect with others who also enjoy this particular brand of dark ride. Enough of all of that, however. Allow me to introduce to you the players in tonight's little nightmare. Michelle, welcome back. Would you like to talk a little bit about everything that you do across the internet and tell everyone just a little bit about your character?
Hello, I'm Michelle Bradley. I've been gone for a little bit. I'm really glad to be back because I miss this spooky shit every Tuesday. It's great. You can find me everywhere on the internet at I am Chubby Bunny on all social media, and every Tuesday here and every Wednesday over on Official Paizo. We are doing a show over there called Secrets of Magic, and it's very fun. I play a Kitsune Witch, and it's a lot of magic weirdos. And in this game, I am playing Faith, and I believe I returned to the Citadel. My adopted brother has just died. I don't know exactly how. I suspect it is. I was told that it was he was bitten in the Marauders camp, or that the Marauders infected him somehow, and then May had to shoot him to save the rest of the party. And that's all I know. I don't kind of know what really happened. And now I'm out for revenge, and there will be blood. And that's me.
Thank you very much. We're glad you're back with us. Markia, would you like to talk about the things that you do on the internet and a little about your character, please?
Hey, so I'm Markia McCarty. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Markia McCarty. Here on Twitch is Darth Markia, and if you are a Facebook person, it's Markia TV. And yeah, on Thursdays, you can check me out a Kids on Bikes campaign called Trouble in Techburg. That's on Pixel Circus's Twitch, and that is 8 a.m. PT. So depending on your time zone, that might work exactly right for you. I'm an 11 3/4 years old spiritual guru who also happens to be a 90s aspiring budding 90s DJ called DJ Exquisite. So that's just a flavor of what that Kids on Bikes campaign is all about. It's season 2, and it's GM'd by Sharif. who is just like, he's everything wonderful in a Sharif package, basically. So yeah, for the character that I am playing here is Achira Sampson. Achira has gone through a number of things. One of the things that's happening right now currently is that this group of well, we'll say they're missionaries, but they're called the shepherds. They're a faction within this world. They have been hunting Achira for a while, and they finally had her in basically their clutches, herself, Lampwick, and another person called Camilla. Achira knew that she was outnumbered and had no way to help the others, so she ended up escaping Sullivan Town to head towards a nearby Ender station to recruit more help. And then that is where she ran into Marcus Greaves and also Cherry Bomb, along with Kusanagi, who's not dead yet. So all of them are at that Ender station, and that's where we'll be beginning her journey tonight.
Thank you once again for being with us. Luis, would you like to talk about what you do across the internet and your character tonight?
Yeah. Hey, everyone. I'm Luis Carrazzo. I missed last week, and I'm back to reap the consequences of Lampwick's actions. I'm an actor. If you watch LA by Night, Vampire the Masquerade, I play Nines Rodriguez on that. I've been on TV. There's an episode of SWAT from last season that you guys can find me. 2 episodes where I play El Diablo, the head of a drug cartel, of course. And I have 2. There's a short film that I have that's doing a festival circuit called Of Hearts and Castles. And we've been winning some awards. I'm super proud of it. I've been plugging it often, and I will do it again today. You could look up the trailer for that online. And it's in more film festivals that are going to still be virtual for the time being. And if you follow me on Twitter, then I will announce when and how you can watch that. There's also another film that I have that's coming out soon called Young Lion of the West. And there's a trailer for that online as well. So Of Hearts and Castles and Young Lion of the West, which is due out soon. Probably on Netflix. And you can look up the trailer for both of those films on the internet. I play Lampwick. Lampwick has been a really confusing character to step into. Pre-apocalypse, Lampwick was already in survival mode. He lived on the streets a little bit. He kind of hustled his way through life. Oftentimes taking advantage of the emptiness that he saw in somebody and sort of becoming essentially a manifestation of what he thought somebody else was missing in their life to get something out of them. He's been burned. He has trusted some people in the past, which is unusual for him. But post-apocalypse, where the people around him started to, I don't know, display less savory qualities, maybe because all the good people died. Lampwick is potentially going through some sort of a metamorphosis. Where that will take him, I don't know. He's been with the Shepherds, a cult-like fanatic organization, but they seem to have a connection with the Romeros, the Undead in the world, and there's something about that that is intriguing to Lampwick. Lampwick also has a history with Marcus, who is here. They rolled together some time ago and were a couple for a little while. And we'll see how that plays out.
I think we're all excited to see how that resolves itself. Of course, that leads us to our 2 very special guests. First, Janelle, would you like to tell everybody a little bit about what you do across the internet and the character that you'll be portraying tonight?
Hi guys, my name is Janelle Santa Cruz, and I guested last week, and I am super stoked to be back this week because what I do on the internet is I am a variety streamer. I stream almost every day on Twitch along with Andy Campbell, GG, who's my husband. You buy one, you get two, unfortunately for everybody out there. But we play a lot of Magic the Gathering lately, a lot of variety games, a lot of TTRPGs. We've collaborated a lot with Hyper RPG, as a lot of people here have as well. And so yes, so we've been doing that. I will be probably GMing. Well, very likely I'm deciding between, chat will be deciding between Kids on Brooms or Rolled and Told campaign that I'll be GMing next week with the cast to be announced. And then in addition to that, if anybody's a fan of Evil Dead, stay tuned because there may or may not be an announcement regarding a certain video game at some point. But yes, so as far as the game, I play Cherry Bomb, who is a wild child who doesn't know her parents, has sort of grown up this tribe of other wild children, with other names similar like Four Eyes and what was it, Monday. So there's a lot of these sort of cryptic names and kind of don't ask questions too much because it's just sort of how it is in this apocalypse. But at the same time, we still kind of hold true to this time that used to be in the 90s. And so there's an affinity for all of these things and the language and she's got sort of a bunk deal in terms of not really having a family and sort of being a self-standing or self-sufficient person. And so just kind of relies on almost like feral abilities. So like, my handy dandy knife and stuff. And so it was very foreign to have somebody, a stranger like Marcus, sort of fall into a little bit of a guardian type of situation, whether he liked it or not. But yeah, so that's sort of where we're at. And I think Cherry's sort of struggling with her relationship to these new people because she doesn't trust anybody, much like a lot of these people as well. Trust is very hard in this world.
We're very glad to have you with us, and we're glad that Cherry has survived for now. Omega, welcome back. Would you like to talk a little bit about what you do across the internet and who you'll be playing tonight?
Of course. Hi, my name is Omega Jones, also known as the Critical Bard across all social media channels. I am a both. I'm a professional actor and vocalist out of the Midwest, mostly doing stage acting, musical theater, represent, equity card holding actor, but I can't do anything because we're still in the Panda Express. But it's cool. It's fine. I also am a professional tabletop gamer and DM. I've been working with many different companies, including World of Darkness, Wizards of the Coast. I even created the Critter Hug theme song for Critical Role that you'll hear every single month when that show comes on. I've been in multiple streamed games and non-streamed games. Some of note include Into the Mist with Realmsmith, where I play a Satyr Druid. What else? Tambo over on Rock Punch ATL, which is using the Islands of Sina Una campaign setting, which is based in pre-colonial Filipino culture. I am the executive producer and cast member of Let's Get Wildmount on my channel on Saturdays, which is set in Critical Role's Wildmount setting. I am also the DM of Dungeons and Durags, which is an all-black D&D campaign over on twitch.tv/INDG, also known as I Need Diverse Games. I do too much, and that's okay. You can also catch me this Thursday for Twitch Weekly, doing some things that you'll find out very, very soon. Again, I do a lot. And today, I am continuing to play Jamarcus Greaves, who once was an officer before the apocalypse hit. But even being someone of the law, he wasn't for the law, and that's very important. He did the job and continued to do the job because to him it was important that someone do the right thing, because a lot of people won't. It's kind of in honor of someone who saved him quite literally after his mother was killed. He has survived because his heart is so full, but he's also a very much a realist. He won't let his heart get in the way of the truth, but he won't let the truth keep his heart from doing what it should do. So he has been through trials and tribulations, including meeting a certain individual named Lampwick, whom he fell in love with. Probably shouldn't have, but the heart wants what it wants. And one day all that vanished when Lampwick and Bella left. and he hasn't seen him for 20 years. But don't get it twisted. A man does not define him. He's still curious. And now that he has information, he's going to potentially act on that. He's really good with his gun. And he's really, he strives even in this dark world to remain a light, because if he doesn't, who will? And that's very important to him. So we'll see.
We're very thankful that you're with us tonight, and I think we're all very interested to see where Marcus's path leads him. Now, due to your support, every player at the table tonight will be receiving 2 additional competency points. Every week we challenge you to match the goals that we have here on the Hunters Entertainment Twitch channel. You have come through with flying colors, and because of that, these players are going to have a better chance at survival. But we'll see what happens as we move forward. That said, we do wish to thank each and every one of you for your support over these past few months. We do have a few special gifts out there to make your personal survival more bearable as you move onward into the unknown. If you find us on social media, you'll be able to find a pathway to our free Content Friday material. There on DriveThruRPG, you can download Rag and Bone Ground Zero and other supplements that will give you an intimate introduction into the world of this campaign. Additionally, you can find us on Discord and vote on what you would like to see the next release to contain. But with all of that said and everyone introduced, we should begin moving down the road. It's getting dark, and the road is very, very long. We'll be right back. The world ended on Monday, May 29th, 1995. The sky fell, and the dead would not die. Civilization quickly collapsed, and the sickness spread like lightning to even the most remote reaches of the world. They called it many things, but it simply started out as another round of the flu. It became something far worse. H195, commonly called the Legacy or the Reaper's Kiss, was deadly. And once infected, there was no turning back. It seemed incurable. At first, no one, it seemed, was immune to the airborne strain. But eventually, it appeared that 0.01% of the entire population had a natural immunity. However, even those lucky souls couldn't withstand a concentrated introduction of the virus. The dead were rising. Friends and family, loved ones, when their life was lost, reanimated with sickly, unimaginable convulsions. Their bodies racked. They attacked like rabid animals. Stumbling through the streets, they tore everything down, seeking warm flesh. Even those lucky souls that had immunity to the airborne strain couldn't withstand that concentrated introduction of the virus through a bite or a deep scratch or blood-on-blood contact. The end of days were like wildfire, and throughout the world, people sought security and sanctuary where none was to be had. Entire cities burned to the ground, but miraculously, some survived. And for the next 25 years, life has struggled forward. The world now is a fractured place, but some seek to make civilization anew. Tethering together the various scattered outposts and settlements across what was once known as the Midwestern United States is a group of merchants known as the Rag and Bone. One such group within the Rag and Bone is known as the Ender's Line. They use old railway tracks to connect all of these varied settlements together. They bring goods and services, food, water, and medical supplies to those who need them. They are a lifeline in a world that now belongs entirely to the dead. Faith. It's still raining. You're soaking wet. You've been out here, out in the night air, for over 5 hours. Your citadel fatigues are soaked all the way through. You're shivering. Your teeth clatter together, but you refuse to leave as you pack muddy earth over your brother's grave. As is the tradition here at the Citadel, you bury your own. One person claims you. One person stands by you. One person is your vigil. You are the light that will continue their heart forward. There is no tombstone. There is a simple wooden stake that has been driven into the ground, and from it, nailed a set of dog tags. Your brother's name glistens upon them. Your hands are bleeding. And as you work, you feel the eyes upon you. The Citadel is a fortress that stands in a post-apocalyptic wasteland. There are walls, fences, strong cinder block buildings. This is the closest to civilization that exists in 500 miles. Only Ironheart can compete, and they're so far away. The Citadel has stood as a bastion of order. It has carved out a place within the region that is now known as the Pin. It protects the farmers and the small settlements and exacts a fair cost for that protection. Everyone here is military trained. Many of them are the descendants of those who served in what was once known as the United States Armed Forces. There are skills here that help people to survive. You, like a blade, have been forged here in this fire, as was your brother. The two of you have survived so much. And though he was not your brother by blood, he was your brother in every way that matters. Sometimes family that is chosen is stronger than family that is given to you by nature. And now he's gone. And though you are not alone, you can't help but feel lost. What do you do?
Finish patting the dirt down. And I kind of hold on to the dog tags. I know we're supposed to leave them here for like a few days and then take them so they don't get lost, but I can't let go of them. This is all that's left. I just take the dog tags and I put them around my neck. And instead of leaving them there, I carve a little M into the stake so I can remember which one it is. I collect myself and head back to base. I need to talk to May. I need to talk to anybody, because we gotta kill some people real soon.
There are other fresh graves here. Many died in your last combat mission. That dangerous group within the mountains, the Marauders, they took so much from your group. You feel your blood run hot as you walk past these piles of fresh earth. But as you look behind at the graveyard that stands there, there are so many stakes in the ground, so many dog tags hanging. Dozens upon dozens of soldiers that have served and died. It is a great honor to be buried here. But you can't help but wonder, how long is it going to be before there are more stakes than people within the Citadel? You start moving back towards the low cinder block building that makes up Central Command. You know that both Rowan and Riggs, two of the lieutenants within the Citadel, will be inside waiting for you when you're ready. As you step through the door, you see the firelight of a number of lanterns flickering inside. There are soldiers on watch at the door. They bow their heads in respect as you pass. Mud and filth follows you as you drip your way across the linoleum floor that, while cracked and aged, has been cared for. Unlike so many of the places of this new world, here, the remnants of the past are remembered and they're cared for. You see images across the cinder block walls, old photographs of men and women who meant something to this place. Newspaper clippings talking about war in a time that you never knew. Seated at a round table are two people that you've come to know very well. You see the scarred and burnt face of Rowan as she looks up at you. There is the typical harshness in her gaze, something of a judgmental stare, but there is also support within those eyes as she looks to you. Her wounds have been tended to. She has fresh bandages. Recently, she and you had returned back on the ATV. having left the others in Sullivan Town. You don't know what conversations she and Riggs have had since then, but you imagine that it can't have been pleasant. Riggs had a very strong interest in certain members of that group, and now they're gone. Did you take care of what you need to take care of, baby Faith?
Yeah. Don't call me fucking baby Faith anymore. But yes, took care of it.
Good deal. Faith it is. He kicks out a chair and it slides out towards you, inviting you to the table. Let's have a talk.
Sure.
Rowan is quiet as she looks to the two of you. You sit down. From under the table on the ground, Riggs produces a number of cracked coffee cups, 3 of them, and a bottle. The bottle has been unopened. It's a very old scotch. He opens it, pours 3 glasses, and hands one of them to you. As he places it upon the table, there is an echo in the large space. He never breaks his eyes away from you.
Sure, we celebrating something or just commiserating?
We're remembering your brother. He was a good soldier. Fucking one of the best.
Yeah, I know, but... Yeah, fighting for, what, all this? On a doom mission to look for some fucking tower or some... I don't even know.
Faith. I've never really told you very much about myself before everything went to hell. I was a jarhead, good soldier. But I had a brother too. And he didn't make it. This was before everything fell to shit. He died overseas, serving. And I'd like to tell you some happy fucking fairy tale where this gets easier and you forget all about it and the wounds heal and you become a better fucking person. But I think you do know me well enough to know that I'm not gonna lie to you and I'm not gonna bullshit you. I'm a fucking asshole. I know that. But you can count on what I say is the truth. You're not okay, but you're gonna be okay. Do you know how I know that?
How's that? Because you're old as fuck?
I am old as fuck, but I'm an old fuck who knows that you're a fucking survivor. I see it in you. I've always seen it in you. You've got what it takes. And Command has been talking.
What now?
Somerset is getting old. Time to retire. That's gonna leave a spot for one of the lieutenants open. Your name came up, but I have to know that you're still playing ball for the Citadel. That this isn't gonna cause you to do something stupid and run out there on some kind of cockamamie, half-thought-out suicide mission.
Well, Why would I go by myself when the whole point of belonging to the fucking Citadel is that we protect our own? We're all going together to kill that entire fucking village, are we not?
You tell me, Lieutenant.
That's exactly what we're gonna fucking do. Kill every last one of them. Burn down their settlements. Take all their animals, their children. Burn that fucking place to the ground.
He looks behind you at one of the soldiers standing guard. You hear that, Private Jackson? We've got orders. We're moving out. We got a fresh target. Bring out Big Bertha, Mama Cass, and the fat lady. We're not fucking around with these assholes. And if these cannibal hippies wanted to learn a fucking lesson, we're about to throw them straight into the fires of hell. And those tree-hugging freaks are gonna learn. You don't piss on the Citadel. And he holds his glass up to you. What do, Faith?
I hit it with my own. Finish the drink.
Everyone slams the drink. Rowan is a little slower, you notice, than either you or Riggs. And there's something in her face. You can make a detect motives roll if you would like.
Sure.
And while you're doing that, since you're a member of the community of the Citadel, you know exactly what Big Bertha, Mama Cass, and the Fat Lady are. They are a trio of 105 millimeter light M77 howitzers. They're cannon artillery, and they'll level a mountainside if they're aimed at it long enough. So, Faith, you have 1 degree of success, which is enough. Do you wish to do anything to increase that?
I'll leave it for now.
You're not sure exactly what is going through Rowan's mind, but you can tell that she's concerned. She's concerned about how adamant your vengeance is.
Rowan, you got a second?
For you, kid? Yeah, of course. I've always got time for you.
All right.
What do you want to talk about? The two of you walk away as Riggs starts shouting at the various guards in the room, and people start moving around. You hear the radio chattering pretty heavily as there are a couple of squadrons that are being put together within the Citadel.
Are you not with me on this? Did we not already talk about how they need to pay?
We are crystal clear, all right? I can tell you, kid, I very much want to see every single one of those sick fucks dead. They wear skin coats. They eat people. They're a threat to not only us, but everyone else around. I just, I've served as a lieutenant now for about 10 years. And I'd be lying if I didn't tell you. It takes a toll. I just want to make sure that you're ready and that you know what you're taking on.
I thought this is what you always wanted for me. This was the whole point of me being brought to the Citadel, was to make me one of you. To excel at doing the shit that you and Riggs do all the time.
No, you are one of us, first of all, okay? She puts her hand on your shoulder and she kind of brings you eye to eye with her. Seeing Camilla just brings back a few things, and I need to know that you and I have that secret between us.
Yeah,
That
I will.
We aren't going to say anything, right?
Look. She seems like She wants to stay away. You seem like you want to support her. I'll keep your secret and support you if you support me in this.
That's an easy deal, kid.
This is about family and about the Citadel. And about those who cross us paying the fucking price. This isn't even about you or me anymore. This is what we do.
Well, sounds like you've got your mind made up. And I'll tell you what, that kind of talk, that's the shit that's gonna get you promoted. Just be careful.
Sure.
All right. Let's go kick some cannibal ass.
Let's go.
A few hours later, the air sirens are blaring. All of the Citadel has been activated. There are defensive forces that are left behind. 7 large, armored, all-terrain vehicles have mobilized, including a tank. There are 3 howitzers that are being pulled on trailers. And one of the trucks is full of enormous metal canisters of mustard gas. All of the soldiers are carrying AR-15 machine guns, and you see a number of grenade launchers. This is, for all intents and purposes, an army. And it's under your control. Riggs and Rowan are present. Some of the other leadership has taken control of a number of the small units that are working their way along the flank of this traveling group. As slow as this operation might be, it is meticulous, it is well armed, and it's destined for success. You start moving out towards the mountains in the distance, and somewhere in the far distance, you hear a wolf howling, and you see black birds in the sky. Somewhere else, somewhere far from the Citadel, the rain falls on the roof of a small safe house, one that the Enders has left at the side of old rusted railway tracks. There, 2 strangers, members of the Enders line, have come across Achira. Achira, you have found a familiar face amongst them, though one that has been very badly wounded. You found Kusanagi. He's alive, although with the encounters that you've recently had, the Romeros that have assailed you and your group within this small stronghold, this small shelter, he nearly has killed himself by misfiring a gun. He's wounded and he's dazed. He's not thinking clearly. He's been resting, and you know he's taking some pain medication that has been given to him. You, Marcus Greaves, and the wild one known as Cherry Bomb are huddled within this small cinder block room. There is a radio, a generator, an old television, a VCR, and one of those tapes. The same tape that you found not so long ago in a safe house not so different from this one. Marcus is seated. His hands are wrapped around his head, which is lowered. Kusanagi is ducking in and out of consciousness as he leans on the cot very heavily. Cherry Bomb is gathering material, shoving it into bags. What are you doing, Achira?
Achiro would be looking through the supplies of the station. She'd be looking for flammable things. You know how much she likes to set things on fire.
For everyone who has survived the Marauder camp, that's Faith, Lampwick, and Achira, you each receive 100 survival points. Marcus and Cherry Bomb, you each receive 50 survival points.
Yes. Okay.
As you search Achira, you see that while not as well maintained as some of the other Ender safe houses that you've come across, there are some very useful items here. What are you looking for?
Well, I already have a couple of flash grenades. What I'm looking for are things to make, whether they're already made or maybe improvised Molotov cocktail type things. If there's anything, I mean, if there's a bomb that has a timer, that'd be excellent. But I doubt that I have enough survival points for that.
As I see Akira looking for stuff, then I am also like, as a scavenger, trying to get to those packages before her, to all of the unopened cases, because I'm just like, I see where her eye goes, and I'm like trying to beat her to those things and try to, like, I don't know what she's looking for specifically, but I'm looking for anything good in there.
All right.
Achira would remember Juniper right now, with what Cherry Bomb's doing, and just would get a little nostalgic, a little sad inside.
It's very familiar. There's a lot of remembering happening in this moment, because there are plenty of wild ones that you've worked with the Ender's line that have not lasted very long. I'd like for both of you to make a search check just to see if anything special comes out.
Okay.
What about Marcus? Marcus, you've got your hands around your head. You've been contemplative and quiet this time. Does that change?
For a moment, he's kind of still in it, but as movement begins to happen, did he? First of all, just because I'm blanking, did we get Achira's name yet?
I don't think Achira said her name yet.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Didn't realize.
We might have heard. We might have heard.
You've heard Kusanagi say it.
Yeah, we've heard Kusanagi say it, so we know. Yeah, we kind of got the information. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. To be fair, we were fighting Romero's when you came.
Fighting some. Yeah.
It's cool. It's happening.
Scribs.
And both Marcus and Cherry Bomb have been in communication with operatives of the Ender's line, the leader of whom, known as 10-4, has passed word down for every available Ender within the area to make their way to this safe house so that they could gather together and help get these individuals to safety. That was the goal. There are additional safe houses in the distance. You know that if you travel a day or two, either south or north, you can find safe houses that will have better supplies and potentially additional aid available to all.
Okay.
Achira, you have 4 degrees of success. Cherry Bomb, you have 1 degree of success, both of which are good.
Can't believe I got a nat 1. Finally.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Yeah. So, Achira, you've been looking for explosive devices, and you don't find anything specific. You do find a lot of biodiesel that is locked up with a key that is hanging on the wall. There are a large number of empty jars and bottles, and there are plenty of rags if you wish to make Molotov cocktails.
Okay, yeah. Utilizing a knife, and is there any there's probably plenty of candles for like wax, right? Utilizing a knife, melting down some candles to form a seal around the hole that she then stuffs the rags into, so that it's not going to be spilling everywhere. She also put a wax seal around. This is also to stop any water getting into the biodiesel, into the fuel. So she's going to do those, and let's say she's going to give each person that's going a jar, and she's going to have 2 for herself.
All right. It's still, even after you've made these Molotov cocktails, you still have plenty of biodiesel left to utilize for either the generator or whatever purposes you may see fit. However, as you're building these, it's up to you, Cherry Bomb. It seems like this Achira person is mostly interested in making these explosive devices. You're familiar with them. You've seen them made before. What do you do as you start grabbing things and kind of like cracking open boxes in front of her?
Yeah, I'm just grabbing things, and then I look over at her and I go, wait. Can you show me that?
You want to know how to make this?
Yeah, I kind of look up and down at her, like I'm a little bit too proud to acknowledge that I really want to learn something from anybody, but
well, you know what, I suddenly have a feeling that I would really like to show someone how to do this, so then I can make sure that I'm doing it right.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Oh, so what do you put in it?
Achira will I'm sure there's sand somewhere in the shelter. She'll do like a little circle of sand to make like a little sand pit, put some of the biodiesel in there and set that on fire, just so that Cherry Bomb can see how long and how quickly it will burn while she's putting together, and also the amount of smoke that comes from it, so and everything like that, while she's putting together these Molotovs. She's gonna hand one to Cherry Bomb. The important thing with this is, well, you can set it off 2 ways. You can light it at the top and throw it at whatever you're going to. The glass breaks, the fuel then spreads out, and the fire just catches everywhere. Another way that you can do it is you can set this somewhere, light the top of it, and leave it be. As it burns down, it's going to ignite the fuel in the jar and explode it. So
only when it's on fire, right?
Only when it's on fire.
And then as I say that, I go, "Hey, Marcus, catch!" And then I throw just like a Molotov, just for him to catch. Not like, I'm not trying to attack. I just want him to catch it, because I see that he's like kind of like, I'm trying to re-engage him.
Yeah. You see that he's kind of out of it, but there's still a level of not too distracted. And as the specific expletive is yelled out, you'll see him just kind of and look at it.
Do you know how to make those?
I haven't needed to, but I'm sure I could.
It's a good thing to learn. I just learned how to do it. I've seen it before. I never learned that before. She did it in front of me, and I already knew how to make that.
All right, so far be it from me, first of all, Kusanagi starts to kind of like mumble from the bed, to be a party pooper here, but if we could just not throw gasoline, we pointing to Achira, had a real bad experience not so long ago in a mine shaft, and I would like if I could just bleed here in peace for a little while without having to worry about the place setting on fire.
I'm pretty sure I told you to not talk.
Yeah, you did. That's a good point. I'm
down with that.
I'm gonna rest. Yeah, I'll shut up now.
Yeah, and the incident that he's talking about is when him and Rowan set off a grenade and locked myself, Lampwick, and a number of other people in an underground bunker.
You were harboring a serial killer, so I don't exactly feel like we need to.
Marcus gets up at this moment and heads over to the radio and specifically says as he's moving, the more you talk, the more blood you lose. I'm not sure if you are good with the healing, but he's going to die, potentially for the better.
All right. I'm being quiet.
And you can tell that was not like antagonistic. That was stop talking before you die because you're going to keep losing blood. But he does go over to the radio to contact 10-4 just to confirm that people are here. There are 4 of us. Not sure if more is supposed to be here. And just to get any other updates, if anything has been, if anything has changed since he last contacted him.
All right. So you move over to the radio. I'd like for you to roll your digital systems for me, please.
Ooh, that's cute. I see that's a thing.
Digital systems.
Digital systems.
It is technically an analog radio, but we're going to use digital systems to represent your understanding of the technology.
Understood.
2 degrees of success. That's very good, Marcus.
Wait, why is that on? Go away.
Do you wish to keep it at 2 degrees of success?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So immediately, with some skill, Marcus comes over and turns on the CB radio, and it crackles to life. And there's some crackling and hissing, and you hear a voice that comes across it.
What's that? Hello?
Yeah? Who goes there?
It's Marcus.
Yeah,
Marcus
okay.
Graves.
You got an operating code there, friend?
I don't know if I know the operator code, but I'm going to give him an operator code.
You in fact have an operating code.
Is it 4039?
Station 39, is that it?
Station 39 is the station you're in, but you do have an operating code.
Oh, is it 45?
Well, it's something that Marcus has memorized.
Okay.
And
Marcus,
so
you know.
it denotes who Marcus is as an operative of the Ender's Line. And
Jerry
so
Mom was just shouting numbers. Is it 45?
Totally doesn't listen to that.
Is that Cherry Bomb back there?
It is. We are at Station 39. There are 4 of us. We're not sure if any others are coming, but
All right,
at least
don't give me any names, all right? I don't want to hear special names.
I wasn't planning on it. I was letting you know that there are folk here and we are heading out. The question is, has there been any updates?
Yeah, there's been some stuff. The boss isn't too far away. You wanna talk to 10-4, or you want me to give you the lowdown?
I would rather talk to the one who knows everything, not the one who is just a communicator.
Right, well, that's a way to minimize my efforts here within the Ender's Line, but I'll tell you what, I'll get 10-4 for you. You doing all right? You can wait there for a second?
We can. Thank you.
All right, let me hail the boss.
There's a crackle as you hear the line still hiss and pop a little bit, and a moment later, you hear another voice.
Hello? I'm going to assume...
Oh, hell. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this darn thing working correctly. It seems like I've got... Nah, boss. Let me tell you what. You be at this radio in 30 minutes, and I promise you'll speak to the man in charge. Meanwhile, I'll just be out here communicating to folks, doing my best.
You are doing a fine job. I did not mean to insult you. It has been a long day so far.
Same out here. We're all on the same side. All right. Well, we'll be back with you shortly. Meanwhile, if you're at 39, and if the operatives that I believe are with you, one of them has information about something very special that you're going to want to investigate. Over and out.
Yeah, he was about to respond, but decided against it. Looks over. I'm sure you can hear that. Do you know what he speaks of?
Well, besides what I told all of you when I got here about who's in Sullivan Town, what we have.
Yes, I know about him.
Well, I meant the shepherds, and then also the abomination of a Romero that they have stalking the grounds there, and then of course there is Camilla and Lampwick to extract from there. It's important that we get them out.
My apologies if I was out of it. How much danger are they in, or are they simply waiting?
I have never seen anything like that thing, that Romero that they made out of that silent sentinel. It runs around on all four legs, but it can stand taller than anything that I've seen. It barely has a head. It's covered.
Barely
in
has
black
a head,
fire.
then it's probably pretty easy to cut off then, no, right?
That's a way to look at it. It's just when I think about things like how do we take out Romero's, we headshot them. This thing barely has a head. Do we literally have to cut off its head to get it down?
I can get pretty close.
Is it more animalistic? Does it seem like it's being controlled? This is not something I've ever heard of.
Kusanagi has his hand raised and is holding his bandage over his mouth.
In any case, it looks like Granny Hodges is the one that is, and she's the head of this part of the shepherds. It looks like she has it under her control.
Well, she might be a problem too. Yes, Kusanagi.
He points to an old waterlogged notebook that is aged paper. It's almost fallen apart, but it's almost like a yellow spiral bound notebook that's open, and there are a pile of old pencils scattered across, and he points to them.
This isn't mime time, Ku.
I'm trying not to talk because I think that Marcus might have a point about me dying. He walks over, he grabs a piece of paper, and he starts to write things down, and then he holds it up. And it says, there's a buried safe box here on this site. I think that's what they were talking about.
I'm going to immediately... my first instinct is to look around, but I'll look back exactly where.
He writes again, looking up at you, and then he holds it back up. He said, on the paper, it's written in his scratchy handwriting. It says, not certain, close by. Cherry, I don't know that you know how to read. It's up to you, but you have no idea what's being said over this communication. He holds it out to everyone, and he said, we need to find the hobo mark.
The hobo mark. What does that even look like?
So most of you who've traveled with the Enders, those of you who know the Enders line know that there is a secret communication that's used along the rail line, a series of sigils and glyphs. And while some of you know more about it than others, most of you understand the basic premise of what these glyphs mean. Usually it denotes safety, or if there's a heavy Romero infestation, or if there are individuals close by that are good-natured that will protect you. It's a series of codes that started out earlier than the fall, before that actually, for people who used to travel the rails, and it's translated now into this survival language that's used. So somewhere on the property near this safe house is one of these marks, and it should denote where exactly this stash is buried.
It's like thief marks of old.
He shrugs, and then he sits back in the cot.
If it's of import, before we head out, it wouldn't hurt to look. But I look at Kusanagi, shake my head, look back at the radio. They're going to be calling back soon. If one of us wants to go look, if you know what the sign looks like, that would be better than all of us going.
I believe I'm familiar with it. Achira's going to grab a shovel, or maybe hand trowel, whatever seems to be available. Once upon a time, before I started traveling Ender's Line, let's just say running across these kind of caches would help a lone traveler that was just making her way through the world.
I've found things before, things that kept me going, but nothing like this, at least not with my own eyes. I'm sure it would be useful.
All right. So, Cherry, Achira, are you two searching for this this mark on the property nearby?
I'm certainly following Achira's lead since I'm like, I don't want them to necessarily know that I can't read. So I'm just like, yeah. And then I'm just sort of following close behind her and then just like kind of using my hunting instincts to try to find the mark on the ground.
I think it's fair to say that you do understand marks, probably better than the
marks,
other
yeah.
two. Yeah.
Okay. So then, if anything, then
know.
Okay, so then if anything, I'm more just like leading the charge than looking for. So I guess it would be more of a sense of pride at looking for these marks. Like since I don't know how to read it, and I'm very proud of my hunting instinct, that I'm sort of following ahead of her, kind of like hastily like looking for where that's at. And you have the shovel, Chira?
I do.
Okay, great. And
So why don't the two of you both make another search check for me as you start to scour the property nearby? Now, it is the middle of the night. Achira has only been here for about an hour, and it's still wet and rainy.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Would I be able to use my recon gear for this?
If you, yeah, I believe that makes sense. Yeah, you're actively looking. I think you probably pull out some of your gear and you start sort of plotting the area around.
Oh, okay. Let me also use mine.
You can
I have
re-roll.
2 for recon. Okay,
Yeah,
so
go
let
ahead
me
and
roll
re-roll.
that. Okay, great.
Achira, you have 1 degree of failure.
Okay, I just re-rolled.
You have 4 degrees of failure. That's even worse than your first roll, Cherry Bomb. I'm sorry to say. With 4 degrees of failure, it's a critical failure. And if you want to change that with your competency, you can. Otherwise, something bad might happen.
Okay, I will use 3 competency points for it to be 1 degree of failure.
Okay. And so 1 degree of failure is very slight. It's not going to cause any adverse effects. I would have risen my risk considerably. Yeah. I believe I currently have around 200 risk. And
my.
Yeah. So you both search. Is there anything you want to do, Achira? You have 1 degree of failure.
I'll go ahead and put in 2 competency points to make it 1 degree of success. Because all we're doing is looking for this mark, and it should be. I mean, it's not something. They probably have something like this near every station. You know, and just as long as you know where to look for it.
Okay. And how many competency are you going to spend?
2 to make it 1 degree of success.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to say then it takes you both about an hour of searching to find the mark. All right.
Fair enough.
Okay. So 1 hour passes. Meanwhile, Marcus, you're inside the shack. Kusanagi has started to nod off, but he continues to write on this notebook. And he shows it to you, and it says, I haven't seen you around the Ender's Line before.
Oh.
You haven't. I tend to roam when I can. It isn't just one group who needs my help. It's everywhere. This is a recent excursion.
He writes something else and he shows it to you. Seems like you're pretty noble.
I don't care about nobility. I don't care about being perceived as good. I care about being good. In this place, too many try to get over on you. Too many only look out for themselves, which, to be fair, isn't the worst thing to do.
He scratches something else quickly and shows it to you. Yeah, okay, I'll buy that for now, but what's your real deal?
My real deal is being who I am and not letting this world corrupt me in any way that it has done anyone else. That might be too hard to believe, and I'll be honest with you, I don't care if you believe it. I care if I do.
He nods slowly. He just writes one word. Okay. And he sort of like settles himself into the cot, and as he does, there's a crackle from the radio.
39. Anyone read? Over.
Loud and clear. What's going on?
Well, I hear you called out for me. What's the status there?
There are 4 of us. We are alone. Took out a couple of Romeros. It's quiet for now, but we need to get moving. We know where 2 are, but I just wanted to confirm there wasn't any updates, though it seems from the one on the communication line that there are.
Hell, shit's just getting worse out here right now. Look, I can get you guys some supplies. I can get you some aid if you guys can get out of there and just head a bit north to the next safe house. But look, if you can pull anyone else out, do it, but don't do it at a cost that will risk any of y'all. 4 is better than none.
But 5 is better than 4. I will do what I can. I can't make any promises. You know that by now.
Now, the best I can do is a couple days, and then we're going to have to pull further north.
Noted. I will let them know, and I will do what I can. Much appreciated.
Over and out.
If this place is north, where is the place where Lampwick and Camilla are?
So, you know this Sullivan town. You've passed through it. It's a really sad, bedraggled place. It's to the west. It's about 3 hours walk from here.
And my apologies, my brain just bleeped that fast. How long did they say they were going to be up north until they keep moving?
A couple of days.
Thank you.
You have a couple of days.
Oh, as the radio ends, deep sigh comes out. I look back over at Kusanagi, who I'm assuming is definitely nodding off. I can't do much, but while they're gone, looking at anything that's left over, potentially some, even if it's not rotted but wet, any type of fabric, any type of alcoholic liquid, anything to kind of neutralize where they were hurt the most, especially in that stomach area, just to help them as best as I can. I'm not going to just leave them to suffer.
Right. Ashira, did you leave your bag here?
Achira never leaves her bag anywhere.
Mm-hmm. The medical supplies here are mostly pills. Everything else that you're finding is old, stale, either covered in mold or ruined. Now, if you would like to spend 25 survival points, I can help you find something of a little more use.
What would you take off of that if I use my own shirt off my back to help wrap?
Knowing that you're going to remove an item of clothing that you will not be able to easily replace, knowing that it might affect you in the future, but if you rip that to make bandages, then I would take 15 for you to be able to find the suture kit that I was going to give you.
Let's do it.
All right, so you've now got a suture kit that you can put onto your character sheet, and that's going to allow you to use a 3 times modifier on your first aid roll.
Nice.
Cool.
Worth.
So go ahead and make a first aid roll. You're also shredding your own shirt, and it's not as if it has sentimental value, but certainly you do not have another layer. So you have like a t-shirt and your jacket on now, but you're going to be a little colder at night.
That's fine. Me being cold is the price to make sure that Kusanagi, this entity that talks too much, but he kind of is beginning to care for, stays alive longer. So first aid roll, first aid kit, correct?
Yes, you have a 3 times modifier.
3 times modifier. Ooh, did it go? Nope. Don't want to click it again. Oh, okay. Oh, I think I might have canceled it. Oops.
That's all right.
Oh no, I thought I pushed submit.
So while you're doing that, Marcus, Kusanagi is sort of scribbling on that notepad. And he writes something that's very confusing to you. Have you ever heard of Blockbuster?
He wrote that to me?
While you're patching him up and stitching him up, he's sitting there doodling, and he writes on the notepad, and on it he writes, "Have you heard of Blockbuster?"
As I'm beginning to get things situated for him, I just kind of stop and look at it. You mean the video store?
He shrugs and writes something else. Yes, but there was a man named Blockbuster. He continues to write. He was a tape trader, the best. Could get you anything.
Have I heard of Blockbuster? I don't want to say yes, and I don't know.
You've heard of tape traders. It's actually
tape traders, yeah.
But you've not heard of this person. But then again, it's not really what you traffic in.
Yeah, at all.
Yeah. You don't really understand the fascination, and as an Echo, as somebody who lived through that time, you know, you could do without the old VHS tapes that seem to go for such high trade prices these days.
Gotcha. I don't know this particular individual, but I understand the profession that they have. Move. And I just kind of, as I say move, I like just kind of move them a little bit myself to get to the spot to start doing some work as they continue to write, I guess.
Look, I'm just going to say this. And I'm going to say it quietly to keep my jaw from breaking the stitches you just put into it. If you really are a good person, there's a place to go that could help more people. He had a stronghold. It was a legendary place. Sort of the kind of thing that, you know, Enders would talk about over the campfire, I heard other Rag and Bone were really seeking the place out. I mean, the kind of place that somebody would do a lot for. They might hurt other people, you know? And Blockbuster was crazy. I mean, he was nuts. He fought the dead with nunchucks. Absolute beef castle of a man, but just not everything was there upstairs, if you know what I'm saying. Sort of lost all of his screws. But he wasn't so crazy as to not know that if something happened to him, that this place that he built, his life's work, would be left behind. Some of the others kind of know about this, but I've been following him for a really long time. He left codes inside of these tapes, and he pulls the tape off of the VCR and opens it and shows you the interior cover. On the front, there's a sticker that says, "Be kind, rewind." And then inside of it are scratched, very almost imperceptible in tiny little writing, a series of numbers and letters and words that don't make any sense. I think I know where to find it. And if what they say is true, it's more than just an archive. It's got everything you'd need to build a safe community from scratch, like hydroponics, generators. I hear that there was a full operating theater with all the medical gear you'd need for 20 years. Like self-sufficient, you could carry 50 people inside of it without blinking. That said, if the Citadel ever found out, they'd just strip it clean. But if you are a good person, like you say, maybe you really are looking for a way to start over.
As I finish, I kind of just inspect just to make sure nothing is amiss, making sure all the lines and things are dotted and squared away. If what you say is true, I'm not looking to go back to the way things were. The world before, it was hard. It seemed perfect, but it was hard. I would just want a place where, even through this chaos, we can survive without having to look over our shoulders. We can breathe without wondering the type of air that we're breathing in. We can exist without fear, even if for a day, a week, a month. I travel, and I don't stop in a place for too long. Because the more I am complacent, the more those like me become complacent. The more others suffer. But if I could become complacent in a place that's truly a safe haven and not a temporary one. If what you say is true, and for some reason I do believe you, then I'll look for it. And I'll make sure that nothing else tries to take it. That's what I can do.
Well, you see, that's good, because I think I'm the only one who knows how to get there. And together, we might be able to find it. It maybe Achira and some of the others are ready to get serious about that too. We keep getting sidetracked, but I was going to take some of them over to this place before, but I was trying to get rid of the Citadel. So I sabotaged the radio. I didn't know it was going to do what it did. I just didn't want them to be able to communicate. And then I thought as soon as we were free faith in Rowan, we'd be able to get the Enders back together and find this place. A lot of people died because of that. I want to make it right, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get there. Unlike you, I know I'm not a hero, but I'm trying to do the right thing.
Two things. Can I read and just understand his words just to make sure I'm hearing some truth?
Go ahead and make a detect motives check.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe you have some abilities that might link into that as well.
Yeah, if they are successful, yes. But regardless, as I say, as I do this, I never claimed to be a hero. Heroes are mythological. And I'm right here. I just want to do some good in the time that I have left, and I plan on having a lot of it. I wouldn't be this old and wise and ready if I wasn't prepared.
I mean, look, you and I aren't that far apart in age, okay? But yeah, you're wise. I definitely see
How
that.
old is he?
He's also an Echo. He's younger than he looks, and he also has sort of a young demeanor to him, but he's in his 40s.
Okay, cool.
You got 1 on your detect motives, 1 degree of success, but doesn't that alter?
Yes, that means I have 4 degrees of success.
Familiar how that ability sort of works. So you read him like a book. Kusanagi has a lot of game. He knows how to look innocent and weak around others so that they become protective. And he's definitely playing you right now. But you also think he's telling you the truth. And you're certain that he's telling you the truth about sabotaging the radio, because the only reason anybody would admit to that is if they really wanted to put some cards on the table to bring you in to whatever they were trying to sell you.
Mm-hmm.
So you read all of this. As to whether or not you go along with it or you call him to the mat for it, that's up to you. But he looks at you and he says, Blockbuster only came out of his hole for tapes, and he died doing that. What he left behind, it's bigger than any of us. It's a real shot. Will you help me?
One step at a time, but yeah, I will.
So as long as we're putting cards on the table here, I'm pretty good at reading people. And when Achira said Lampwick, there's something that went through your eyes. Kind of unmistakable. Do you know him?
No. But I knew someone who used that name and had a child. I knew someone who oozed charisma like a baby too hungry and leaking from their bottle. I knew someone who, with their words, could potentially raise a nation, and yet only use that silver tongue to get by. No, I don't know, Lampwick. At least, I'm more than positive I didn't. But I knew him more than any of you.
Outside, Achira, you found the mark. Both you and Cherry have begun to dig, and you've hit metal.
Oh, did you hear that?
All right, let's see what we got here.
And then I jump in there and I start just unearthing with my fingers.
There's a large military container.
I try to pull it all the way up, and then I pull it out of the ground.
You drag it out of the ground in the wet, muddy earth. It sits there in front of you. There's a lock on it. What do you want to do?
I look over at a chair and I say, shovel this heckin' thing.
Oh, wasn't there a key that was hanging in the shelter? Maybe we should just grab that and try it on this lock.
All right, then I run back because I don't remember that key specifically, but I can head back and go get it.
You burst into the door as clearly Marcus and Kusanagi are talking.
Key! Read the key! Hello?
Kusanagi points to the wall, and hanging off a peg is a piece of twine with a number of old rusted keys on it.
And then I grab the whole thing, and then I burst out without saying anything to Marcus. I just run back out to go meet Achira.
Back outside, you shuffle through the keys, and it turns out Achira was right. One of them opens the lock, and you now have a lock that you can use. It's a stable, sturdy lock. It hasn't rusted away. It was made out of stainless steel.
Ooh! And then I put that in my pack with the key.
You're gonna take the padlock? Is that what's happening right now?
What, I'm just.
No, actually, that's brilliant. I wish I thought of it. And
we could paper rock scissors for it if you want.
No. I'll get the next one.
Okay, sounds good. And then I go to. You want to open this thing?
Yeah. Sure.
And I back up because I'm like, what's in there?
It's gonna lift the lid.
Okay.
Inside are a pair of automatic machine guns, rifles, stacks of boxes of ammunition, and 5 grenades.
1, 2, 3.
This is like back when
I pretended I
Christmas.
God, I'm like, 1, 2, 3. That's about it. That's all I know.
So, given that you have survival points, I'm going to ask if you would like anything else to be inside of this case. All you have to do is make an offer, and maybe it's in here as well. Currently, you have 2 AK-47s, you have 5 grenades, and you have a few boxes of ammunition for those rifles.
AK-47.
Nox, what are you about to throw at us? This is the most.
I know.
This is the most hardware that we've had the entire year that we've been playing this game.
You really
seems like a
shouldn't
lot.
thank me, because just as you discovered the medical equipment, others outside of this conversation have helped to facilitate the success.
Okay. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank
Yay. Oh, we need the help. Okay.
All right. I'd love for there to be a hand scythe in there.
A hand scythe is very specific. You have your Citadel sword. I don't think a scythe would be in there. However, I will give you an axe, a specialized axe.
Okay.
I would like for there to be another heckin' combat knife in there so I can dual wield.
All right. So if you each give me 25 survivor points, Cherry, I will give you a series of specially made survival throwing knives.
Yes. Okay,
So
I will gladly use half my survivor points.
All right. And so you have each of them. They are very accurate, and I'll talk to you about what that does for you later.
Okay, great.
The axe itself looks like something that has been handmade. It looks as if it might be Citadel forged, and it is a 3x axe. It's made in the same style as the sword that you have, where it has these strange shapes and bends in the metal, but it's carbon steel, and it's been made very, very well. Like the handle is wrapped with this black leather, and the entire thing is balanced almost perfectly. However, it is fairly heavy, and this thing, it looks like it could cleave through a Romero very, very easily.
Very nice.
It's a 3x modifier, and it has additional damage on the slash attribute. So you can really smash through it. However, it does add an additional speed die in its use over the sword.
Okay.
So whenever you use it, it'll be a little slower.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, because I'm part of this conglomerate as well.
Yeah,
So,
we'll be bringing this back.
Inside the case, what would you like, Marcus? What would you like for them to find, and how many survival points are you willing to spend on it?
So I got 35 left. Since there's so much actual like hardware in here and grenades, it means somebody was very much prepared. And being someone of a certain, profession, I know how some like Kevlar and things last. Would anything like that be in there? Especially something that, because I took off my shirt, any gets extra padding would be nice. So like the better, of course, is like,
Once,
for me,
one of those regular
so like what
t-shirts.
can 35 survival points get me for some good Kevlar bulletproof thing to that nature?
You want some Abercrombie and Fitch?
Something that are slash resistant, just what can I get with that?
I could give you
Protection gear is good.
I could give you a Kevlar vest, a SWAT vest. That would make sense. However, I need 50 survivor points to make that happen.
Oh.
You have 35. If you give me 2 competency points, we'll call it even.
Oh. Can points be donated?
If you wish to offer points, you can either give survival points or competency points to anyone that you're sharing a camp with.
Okay.
But
how many?
That
Go
means
ahead.
he gets to keep his survival points, right? Because that's 2 competency points for 15 survival points that's being missed. So it's
I will say the last week, Marcus used some competency points to save me, and so I feel like a favor is kind of owed. I did pay it back a little bit, but man, okay, all right.
Do you have survival points left?
I have 25 total because I only used 25.
If you give 15 to Marcus, that will be 50, and he will be able to buy the vest.
No, Cherry, I'll give the 25 to Marcus. Because you don't know he's gonna do something else.
Okay, I trust because
you're gonna want that 25.
This is why you play good characters. It pays off in the end. Heck yeah.
Okay.
So wait, are you giving 15 or 25? Because I have 35.
Instead of me getting 15,
I know.
Yeah.
Is the cheer giving 15 or 25?
I'll make the difference up.
Okay,
15.
so you're giving 15. Now I'll give my 35. Bet.
Get your Kevlar vest.
There's a Kevlar vest that says SWAT across the front of it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have any additional survival points, I'm open to discussing additional finds within this chest.
Cool, bet. I mean, I'm good. I'm out. I'm good.
You are tapped out, so I'm afraid you're no longer in the conversation.
I am not. Bye.
Okay. I will hold on to my 25 for now.
Yeah, right. I mean, we have some medical supplies. We have explosives, including grenades. We have, machine guns. I personally have Citadel armor on. Marcus has the Kevlar now. I can't think of something else.
I don't
This is
need
an embarrassment
defense.
of riches, and I don't know what to do with.
I just need the offense.
I got that axe.
You got your axe. That's pretty cool.
I guess could think of something that Lampwick might need.
Lampwick, what do you need?
Well,
Not to
Lampwick
die.
is not at your camp, so Lampwick
yeah.
is not able to interact with this conversation or this crate.
Unfortunately, this crate's not for you.
However,
Lampwick.
I'm glad that we brought it up. We are going to take a break briefly, but before we do, let's go to Lampwick and find out what Lampwick is doing and see if Lampwick can spin some survival points in a very different way. There are candles lit in the dark metal shack as the rain beats across the roof. Your shirt has been removed, and you are praying on your knees. In front of you is an altar. It is made of skulls, sticks, twine. It is tethered together with sinew. And it forms a spiraling shape on the wall. There are two figures that stand behind you. They're watching you as you pray. You've been here for hours. And in the silence, they've commanded you to do just one thing. Listen. Listen, Lampwick. Hear them. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back. Don't go anywhere. The elderly woman places her frail hand upon your shoulder, Lampwick. It feels like old parchment. You see that she's not wearing gloves. She so often, like many of the shepherds, wears black leather gloves. You feel scarification on the palm of her hand on your shoulder. And you remember what she did. She held her hand out at that thing, and it listened. It obeyed. It understood. Brother Hayworth has spoken of you. He has said much. Your worthiness has yet to be seen by me. Are you prepared? Are you ready? Will you begin your trials?
I take my hand and I place it on hers. And I squeeze gently. I am Mother.
You have been walking this poisoned garden. You've been wearing the rags of a life long lost. Mother Hodge looks over to Sister Deidre. In comparison to this older, ragged, well-maintained woman with a tight bun of white hair, the perfect black vestments, the woman across the way is strong, well-muscled. Her dark skin shines in the candlelight, and she has shaved her head down to the bare skin. Her eyes are intelligent, and they bore through you as she stares at you. She steps forward and hands you perfectly folded black clothing.
I take it.
These are the vestments. We keep them clean. This world is dirty, filthy. It has nothing to offer us. You wear the black in mourning for the loss of all that has come before, and in celebration of everything that is to come. The angels, my son, have blown their trumpets, and the seven seals hath been broken. Malachi guides and protects our holy work, and only through sacrament and communion can we find his glory and our own purpose in these great works. She looks to the bite on your shoulder, and she runs her hand across it and digs her fingernail into it. I need you to make an endurance check.
Okay. Huh.
2 degrees of success, you make no noise, but it does rack your body with pain as she does so. And she pulls back and very carefully dabs at the wound with a white kerchief and takes it to the candle, holding it up.
I am watching everything that she's doing with complete studious focus.
When did Brother Hayworth give you your last sacrament?
It was when I was there last, before I arrived at the Citadel. Time is a little fuzzy. I think it must have been over a month, weeks, maybe longer. Is it time for the next one?
She looks to you. You're overdue.
I'm ready.
She looks to Deidre. The woman walks out of the small metal hut in Sullivan Town. And beyond the door, you feel the breeze and then the stink and the smell of this small community wafts back into this room, and all the smells of the herbs and the candles whip away from you for a moment, and you get drawn back into this cold, empty reality beyond these doors. And you realize that whatever is happening in this room, there is a heaviness, a weight that is being created here. And you don't know if it's the illness that's setting in to your blood, or if it's something that they're doing, something that they put into the air, or something that they've given you to drink. You almost feel outside of yourself. What is your current viral at?
There's 3 X's, but it goes from left to right down to the 7th box. 3 of them are filled.
She looks to you. If you truly wish to walk this path, you must know it is far too late to turn back. Even the sweet release of oblivion will not find you easily now. Do you know, son, what you are? Do you feel it?
I do.
And when you listen, what do you hear?
I hear the Chira. Why? Why do I hear her name?
She is important. The prophet, he has spoken her name. She has a purpose. But you knew that already, didn't you, son?
I did.
She places her hand across your cheek, raises your head to hers. Oh, children of the valley, walking hand in hand. Oh, children of the valley, all across this land, walk with me, little children. She pulls you closer to her as she sings, and you realize her hands are so cold. And then you hear the cracking of bone coming from her face. 2 loud snaps. And you watch as her jaw unhinges before you and splits in 2 down the middle. Her throat opens, and serrated lines of teeth appear down her throat. Under her dress, you see movement. And from her midsection slowly emerges a long, wet tentacle. I need you to make a composure check.
Oof.
Three degrees of success. Congratulations, Lampwick. Perhaps in shock, you do nothing but kneel there in front of this monstrosity, this abomination, as Mother Hodge shows you her true face. This tentacle appendage wraps itself around your neck and slowly begins to tighten itself.
I brace myself. I look to Sister Deidre.
She has left the room. It's only you and Mother Hodge.
Is there anything else except this tentacle that's emerging from the hinged mouth?
Not that you can see.
Oof.
The tentacle climbs up your chin and enters into your mouth, moving its way down your throat. Do you allow that to happen?
I'm going to grab the tentacle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to look towards Mother Hodge. And I'm going to shake my head. And I'm going to gently, but with purpose, tug it away from me.
The tentacle releases itself and retracts back into Mother Hodge's form. Her mouth closes, and you see the wrinkled old face of the woman in front of you.
Forgive me, Mother. But I don't think that this is the best use for me. I am a servant. I understand my purpose, and I understand what must be done. But there are other powers in the world, and if you take me completely away from myself, then I will not be of any use to you, especially with the Chira and any of the other forces that I have worked to gain confidence with.
When you slayed the sinner and let her blood and head fall upon your hands, you took a step forward. And when you ate the tainted flesh of one of the infected, what son did you think you were taking into your body?
The truth.
Yes. It is the truth. That is what I offer you now. Flesh of his flesh, blood of his blood. You must consume it or you will be taken. Your sacraments must come. And should you fail us, we will not give them to you any longer. And you will die and walk this twisted garden as one of the lost.
I understand. I understand my place. Will I become like the sentinel that you sent with me? This is the gift that I can give you to help further the cause. And this. And if what you are offering me steals that from me, then it will cost us.
Your freedom of mind is guaranteed. This is a choice you make. No one serves the hand of Malachi under duress. None do so without basking in the glory of his word. Those that serve do so because they wish to.
I do wish to serve. But I understand that you are a servant as well.
I am one of the first.
Forgive me, Mother, for being defiant. I am ready.
Oh, children of the valley, walking hand in hand. Her mouth splits open once again, teeth unhinging like a zipper as that tentacle, wet, moves across the floor, up your chest, around your neck, and down your throat. However, you do not choke, and you can breathe still.
I hold myself firm and I stare at what I think might be where Mother Hodge might be watching me from.
Her eyes are black as pitch.
I look there.
There is no life. They are empty, deep, black voids. And you see the veins working across her old flesh, like cracks in porcelain. And you feel those veins working their way across your face. And the wound, the bite mark on your shoulder, begins to heal. The spear wound that you had suffered, the stab from that rusted piece of metal as you worked your way through the cabin, all of your wounds knit themselves back together at impossible speeds that defy science and understanding. I need you to make a second composure roll with 1 black dice of difficulty. Two degrees of failure. Do you wish to allow that failure to stand?
Nope. We'll use 3 competency points to make that a success.
Regardless of your success, with only 1 success, you lose a morale point.
Is it too late to bargain for more?
How many competency do you have remaining?
I have 5.
You would need to make it 3 degrees of success to avoid this.
I'm going to hold on to it. I have some morale left to lose.
Her mouth is no longer moving, but in your mind, Lampwick, you hear her song as if she were whispering it into your ear. It echoes through your mind. And eventually, the song ends, and she releases you. The tentacle retreats, and her mouth closes once more. And the frail old woman in front of you turns and looks at the altar and kneels next to you and silently prays.
I reach to her and offer my hand.
She takes your hand. It is cold.
And I pray with her.
Your hand is cold too. Faith, fire burns across the ridge. The guns continue to fire in the night. Sparks, flashes break the darkness. Big Bertha, Mama Cass, and the Fat Lady are doing their work as each of them recoil with enormous explosions. And you watch as the network of cabins and passageways burns and explodes. Dirt flies into the air. They've already dropped 4 of those large steel drums, and mustard gas fills the air. You see ragged individuals covered in fur and what you know to be human skin throw themselves away from it in pain, clawing at their eyes, coughing, blood running down their chest. What do you do?
If any of them are near me, I shoot them in the head.
2 of them emerge from the mustard gas, and with precision, you shoot each of them. They drop to the ground like broken dolls. Next to you lies a bear that has been killed. Half of its haunch has been evaporated by the grenade that it took to the side when it was charging at the vehicle. Now you and your unit are on the ground. You're sweeping the area clean to make sure that no one survives. Riggs is smiling like a kid in Christmas, a cigar chomped around his teeth as he hums to himself, firing a grenade launcher from time to time into the air. There's a spark in his eyes, and you can see, if you didn't know already, he's a complete psychopath. Rowan has been more reserved, but has been doing her job. They've been cleaning up the perimeter, working on your right flank. On your right flank, Rowan stands. On your left, Riggs. You continue to press forward, cleaning out any of the surviving marauders. Do you enter into their network of passages to ensure that everyone is dead, or do you do something else?
I go in. I remember that I thought that my brother might have been in there when I was in there. I need to find out if that was true somehow.
You see their tannery, the large open pits of urine, the flesh that hangs from the ceiling on hooks, both animal and human. You find the larders that they filled with dried meat, salted beef, and human. A few of them burst out from doorways, wet rags covering their mouth, their nose and mouth, trying to survive in the haze of war that has descended upon this place. What do you do?
I shoot them all, but I try to keep one alive to interrogate them.
Make a pistol roll for me. You're going to need at least 3 degrees of success to non-fatally shoot them. You have 1 degree of success. Do you wish to spend any competency to make it 3?
Yeah, I'll spend 2.
So with 3 degrees of competency in this, or success in this roll, you manage to shoot one of them directly in the leg in a way that's not going to cause them to bleed out. You prevent them from running. They drop to the ground, and you see a burly-looking woman covered in wolf pelts trying to climb and claw her way out. She's filthy. You can't even see her skin underneath all the dirt. However, she looks at you with eyes that are intelligent and sharp. The other 2 that had burst out at you are now dead at your feet.
Can you talk? Do you remember me?
She pulls herself up, not standing. And all she does is extends her neck out to you, like an animal that knows it's about to die.
I grab her by the hair. Do you remember me? Do you remember anybody that you took and kept captive in the last week? Do you remember a man that you infected? Talk!
Make an intimidation check for me, please. I'm going to, go ahead and make an intimidation check. There's no dice of difficulty here. I'm going to give you a single success. So you have 2 degrees of success on that just because of your role play. Do you wish to add anything to that?
So that's 3 total? Nope.
You have 2 total.
Oh, 2 total. Sure, slap another one on.
Okay, so with 3 degrees of success, she looks less confident. I remember you.
I don't remember any others. There was a man here. He's tall, broad-shouldered, dark hair. He wore a uniform like mine. Was he here? Did you infect him with your weird bone weapons?
He was meat. We don't waste meat.
You are a fucking waste. I take my knife and I just slice her down the arm.
She doesn't react. Let me make a roll real quickly. You're just trying to hurt her right now, is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you cut her and she winces, but she stands strong as she bleeds now. Kill me. You've earned it.
You're all gonna die anyway. This whole village, there'll be nothing left of you, just dust. You did this to yourselves. You took one of ours. You took my brother.
We survive. You're the monster.
This isn't surviving. You're eating people. You're not one of us. Fuck it. I shoot her in the head.
Her body jolts back and she drops to the ground. Achira, Marcus, and Cherry Bomb, I need you to make stealth rolls.
Okay. Oh my god. All right.
Cherry Bomb, you have 1 degree of success. Marcus, you have 1 degree of success. Surprisingly,
Yeah.
Achira, you have 1 degree of failure.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and spend 2 competency to make that a degree of success.
All right. So all of you have a single degree of success on your stealth.
Okay, and we're trying to enter.
Tell me what your plan is as you enter into Sullivan Town. I need you to be very specific about what your mode of operation here is.
Achira, so you have, do you have any experience in this town before? Have you been here before? You know this rag?
Yeah, Cherry, yes, I came from this town. Lampwick and Camilla are located inside of it. I know the layout of Sullivan Town.
Okay, just checking, because, you know, I've not been here. I need the help. I hate that I have to admit this, but I need help. I'm not like you.
This is not the time to start doubting yourself.
You're
Okay.
gonna be fine. You're gonna be
Okay.
more than fine.
Okay. Yes, I'll be fine. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna be fine. Okay. All right.
If you know where the two are, what would be our best plan of infiltration? Less eyes, less important eyes.
I start looking to see if there's a path of any like sort of shrubbery or anything that we can slink along.
Most of what surrounds Sullivan Town are the ragged concrete remains of an overpass that has years ago shattered away, and it looks like broken, jagged cliffs. And Sullivan Town is built underneath it, and there are walls of rusted old semi-trailers and cars that have been stacked up on top of each other to create barricades between you and the city. Now, Achira seems to know of some entrance to that. Additionally, I want to add that Kusanagi has stayed behind at Station 39 to both rest and to maintain radio communication. If you find a radio, you can connect with Kusanagi directly, and he can radio for help.
Copy that. Okay. Achira, what about underneath the cars? Is there a way we can gain to the entrance?
Yeah, I know exactly where I came out, and we can go in the same way. I remember where Camilla is, and I doubt that she's
Cool
been
beans. I
moved.
got that. Yeah, sounds good.
So, the problem will be finding Lampwick. But here, it's this way.
Okay, and then I sort of like, I go behind it, but I make sure that Marcus is following because I'm like,
Oh, he is more than following. He's probably right next to Tira.
yeah, okay, great.
He's more so just trying to focus.
Then I would be like behind them, but also like a little bit wary. But I'm also just like super dodgy and ready to like go. And I do have my knife out, like drawn. on my side.
So yeah, do we want to talk about who has the machine guns? I was thinking Marcus might have one. If Cherry wanted one,
I would love one.
I'm pretty used to my long gun, and then we just lit up the grenades amongst us.
I have it strapped
I
to my
think Cherry
back.
Bomb should definitely have a grenade.
Yeah, I definitely have like the Molotov that you showed me how to make, and then one of the Molotovs that I made by myself. That's probably not as good, but you know, it's still one.
Yeah,
So
I would
have,
definitely want one of the AKs. That's
yeah.
I didn't have to use it often, but I definitely had it and knew how to use it very well.
I feel like because I got my other knife, that I think that you would have your long gun and then maybe the AK on your back, Achira, because like I'm not comfortable with that, you know, because I'm more just like hand to hand. But I think you would like, I mean, if I need to in the heat of the moment, like I would say like, you know, Achira would have like showed Cherry like how to use it in the heat of the moment, or possibly will.
I'll carry it for now.
Okay, yeah.
If anybody wants it, then
Yeah, if Marcus needs another, if he runs out, then that's pretty
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Unless
cool.
Marcus, you want to hold both of them.
I'll hold both. I have no issue holding both. I can put one on my back. One in my hand.
Because I don't want to be dragged down by the weight, just because like I like to be fast. And,
I'm a big dude. This is what I do. And then I'll have one of the grenades, and y'all can have the rest.
Great. Yeah, we have the Molotovs that Achira and I. My botched ones. I botched a couple of them, but those stayed behind. But I have one really good one that I made that I'm really proud of.
You have all three entered into the wall. Then you've made your way through the opening that Achira has showed you, and you've stepped into the muddy, bedraggled streets of Sullivan Town. This place is a shanty town. It has metal and old wood construction that is a building stacked upon buildings, but it seems as if it's been wholly abandoned. There's very few signs of life here, and in the drizzle and wet mud, it's all the more depressing. There are a few smoky fires off on the far side of town, and a thick, black, acrid smoke fills the air to the south portion of this place. It can be seen from miles away. Now, before you go further, I need each of you to make a spot listen check.
Spot listen check. Copy that. I will do that now.
As low as possible.
Okay.
Cherry bomb, that is 3 degrees of failure.
Excuse? Okay.
You're welcome to allow yourself to fail that. Marcus, you've got 1 degree of failure.
I'm going to change that. I'm going to spend 2 competencies to make that at least 1.
Okay, so are you going to use 4 degrees or 4 competency points to get yourself to 1 degree?
I'll use 4 to get myself to 1.
Okay, so that's 1 degree of success for Marcus, 1 degree of success for Cherry, and 3 degrees of success for Achira.
Now that we've walked back into Sullivan Town, we know that there is that Romero-like thing that's in there and the shepherds that might come looking. Are we in a location hazard?
Oh.
You are currently not in a location hazard.
No.
Okay.
Darn. Thanks for
Yet.
asking. Thank you for asking. Trying to get that extra competency. Yeah. Smart.
Marcus and Cherry, it's very quiet. There is clearly no one on this part of town. You don't see anyone on the walls patrolling. You don't hear any movement throughout the street as you start to pass through it. That in itself makes you uneasy. Achira, you also hear how quiet it is, but in the far, far distance, you see a figure watching you from one of the guard towers, and they duck back away once they see that you look in their direction.
Someone spotted us.
So we don't have the cover of surprised.
Well, we do if I go take that person out.
How do we know they didn't alert anybody yet?
Because I don't hear any noise.
Okay.
I'm not going to chance it. Let's say that Achira's already described the layout of where Camilla and then also Lampwick was, or where they held, where they directed Achira and Lampwick, like their bunk, would relay that to Marcus and Cherry already has, and Achira's going for the guard tower.
Marcus is going to go with, because this is not the time to, trope split the party. He doesn't nothing's changed, nothing seems agitated, which means nothing's probably changed overall.
Right.
So let's do this together, and
yes, I follow suit. Yeah.
We deal with whatever's next. But now that they've said something, my eyes are directly at that guard tower, and I'm looking for anything that seems out of the ordinary.
So, Cherry, are you also traveling alongside Achira?
Yeah, I'm following suit with them, because I definitely don't want to split the party, because I sort of have like as a survivor, I trust them a little bit more as survivors as well. So I'm definitely following them as well.
The three of you quietly make your way through the street to the wall where you saw the figure, Achira. It's up on top of a stack of vehicles. There's a small corrugated metal shack on top of three what look like old pickup trucks that have been stacked on top of one another.
Okay. And that's where the guard was.
It only seems like there's one easy way out of that shack, and you're right in front of the ladder that leads up. You think that they probably are still in there.
Achira's gonna chance it and very lightly call up Robin. Get down here real quick.
Everything's quiet for a moment, and then you hear boots on metal as the shy boy in his 30s pulls his head over the edge. His large, round face looks down to you, and you see the bruise across one side of it. His wet hair drips, and he looks like he's about to cry.
It's okay. It's fine. It's okay. Robin, where did they take Lampwick?
Do I hear this?
Yeah, if the two of you traveled along, you see...
Yeah, so I'm like, who's Robin?
You see a man who is very childish in his demeanor, who is wearing overalls and a shirt, and it looks sort of dirty like everything else here. But he's looking at Achira and then looks to the two of you.
And I say, yeah, tell us where Lampstick is.
Harry. Something that they said back in my day. Take it from a 10 to a 2.
It's
Quiet
time for
down.
It's time for Lampwick to go home, Robin.
I know that. I just don't. I don't want to upset anyone any longer, and they helped us. The Citadel hurt us, and my pa, he knew, that we could trust them. That they came in and they brought food, and the Citadel was just taken. And if they get mad, they aren't going to help us no more.
Robin, now that we know more about Sullivan Town, there's other people that can help, and I'll make sure that some of that help comes your way. But the shepherds are not who they say that they are. But most importantly, it's time for Lampwick to go home, and we're going to take him and Camilla home. This isn't their home. You wouldn't want to live somewhere that wasn't your home, right? No matter how nice the people were.
No, ma'am.
I look at Robin and I say, Robin, it might be time to open up a can and dip. You know what I mean?
I do not know what you mean, but I can show you where he is. You won't. You just got to go quick before Pa or Barack or Hopper or Val or anybody else finds out about it, because they're going to be mad. He starts climbing down the ladder.
Marcus takes a deep breath in for a moment, breathes out, hands on the trigger.
This man is completely unarmed. He has on his belt a couple of tools, and he's carrying a large wrench.
Okay.
Robin and Lampwick had a very nice rapport earlier, and Robin was very taken with Lampwick, like most people are. And Robin's going to help us out, and we are going to be so quick and quiet. And then says over to Marcus and Cherry, until they make us not be quick and quiet.
That's the plan.
Copy that.
Easy in, easy out. Let's go.
They're going to be taking him over to the altar.
That doesn't sound good.
Sure.
It's just it's just prayer.
Then wherever this altar is, that's where we need to go.
All right, sir, this way. Robin starts leading you through the rainy streets of Sullivan. You see no one else. Achira, you know that this community has barely 7 individuals within it, but none of them are here. No one's on the walls. You walk by a pair of horses that have been freshly killed. Their blood flows through the street, and you walk through it. Each of them had their throats slit. And you see on the side of each of them a branding mark of the Citadel.
Citadel was going to drop off some horses for us. I was kind of hoping, I was counting on those horses to get Camilla out.
Granny Hodge told us to do that. I didn't do it. I like animals too much to, but it's good meat, and we're gonna put it to good use. I'm sorry.
It's not your fault, Robin. It's not your fault.
They just said you couldn't get away. Said you couldn't leave. It's down this way. He leads you to the burning barrels in the center of a standing gazebo at the south part of town. There's thick black smoke billowing off of it.
Guys, really quickly, as we're walking, he seems, childish, which is fine. And he seemed kind of nervous, but does he seem nervous because he's a nervous individual, or does he seem like he's hiding something?
Make a detect motives roll for me, please, Marcus.
Oh, snap.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think that's brilliant.
That's 4 degrees of success.
He's terrified. He fears for his life, you know that. But he's also lying to you. He's moving his hands and his eyes in weird ways. He does look like a nervous person, but he's being deceitful. You don't know about what, you just know that something about this isn't right.
Okay. As he's walking, kind of assuming he's in front of us, I slowly match my step to meet Achira, and I say, "Be more on guard. I don't know him. You do, but he is hiding something." And I said that as low as possible.
If he's, and Achira says back low to Marcus, it looks like he's leading us to the same building Lampwick and I scouted it out before, and Granny Hodges was no, I don't know that part. And there was something animalistic that roared there. I really was hoping not to have to kill Robin.
You can hold on to hope, but even it runs out.
Achira's going to step forward, grab Robin by the back of his head, and hold her, the Citadel sword underneath his chin. She has her hand over his mouth. And she's
crying now, but he kind of seems relieved.
You're lying to us. I don't
Tell us
like
the truth.
being lied to. You have one chance. And Achira is going to position him to where he's looking at Cherry Bomb. Do you see how much we don't care about your life right now?
It's that simple.
The only thing we care about is the truth, and you have one chance. One. And if Marcus or Cherry tell me that you're lying, that's it for you. And then Achira is going to part way take her hand off of his mouth, but she has the sword is right underneath there, a taunt against the skin.
He's my daddy.
What?
My daddy, my pa, he told me if I didn't lock you away, he said that when you came back and you would come back for her, that I had to put you down there. And he points to the cellar in the center of the fire pits. Ma'am, I like all of you, but I have to do what my daddy says.
Where is Lampwick, Robin?
It's too late. He's one of them.
It's too late.
He's one of them. He's one of the shepherds.
Robin, this is the last time. I have killed so many people, you would not even be a tally on my board. Where is Lampwick?
You realize he's not talking, but he's whispering to himself. He's praying.
Seeing Achira, Marcus puts a hand up. Wait. And he'll walk forward. And I'm assuming maybe his eyes are closed. You know, he's kind of doing that whisper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He's not giving
expecting
answers. He's not giving answers,
Wait.
Marcus.
I don't know who your daddy is, but I understand the love you have. Some of us don't want to hurt you, but some of us need to find where Lampwick is. So stop the praying for 1 second and tell us the direction.
I would like for you to make for me a persuade roll. Any of you with competency remaining can add to this, whether it be through intimidation or through support or whatever you'd like. That's 1 degree of success.
That's 4 degrees of success.
Well, with 4 degrees of success, Robin stops praying and points you in the opposite direction at a small, very commonplace looking shack down the road with a black door. There's a red X painted on it. There's smoke coming out of the small chimney. He says nothing, but just looks defeated in the mud and points at this door.
I'm going to, as I'm there, I don't know if any tears are coming down his eyes, down his face. I'm going to wipe a tear. I'm going to bring him in. I'm going to say thank you. And then I'm going to snap his neck.
With a loud crack, his neck breaks and his body falls limp in the mud.
Without a word, Achira is going to get him underneath the arms and drag him out of the path to the side, so the body is not immediately noticeable. This won't be the first body that she's hit.
And I look at Cherry and I say, goodness comes with a price. I do not claim to be more than.
Well, if you were going to do it, I was.
I was really hoping not to kill him, but that is the world that we live in. Achira starts heading towards the hut.
I try to save who we can. That when it was beyond being saved.
Well, at least we can agree on something.
I'll be completely honest. Except for Lampwick and Camilla, I don't think anybody in Sullivan Town can be saved.
Then we will do what we can. And he starts walking towards the area.
The three of you approach. There are 2 steps that lead up out of the mud street. They lead to a wooden porch. Floorboards creak underfoot. You move closer to the door. Inside, praying, Lampwick. You feel her hand release from yours, and she stands and looks down at you. Your trial, my son, has arrived. And that is where we're going to end our session tonight.
Oh.